afternoon. We're here at Volo Bog and we'll be following the interpretive trail to take a look at sphagnum moss. So what we're going to do is head over to this trail over here on the left. I'm studying environmental studies. Environmental studies is a field that studies how nature and humans interact. So where are we? Right now, we're at Volo Bog in the heart of it, near the eye of Volo Bog, which is up in Volo, Illinois. It's a very pristine and unique ecosystem here, and so it's very important that we are able to show you, especially for people who can't come all the way up here to visit, what it looks like and what it does. But specifically for today's purposes, we're taking a look at moss, and not just any moss, sphagnum moss. So what is sphagnum moss? What it is actually is a tiny little green plant about this size, not very big at all really, that grows in wet and acidic environments. Now sphagnum moss does not flower, which means that it reproduces by releasing tiny little specks of spores that get carried by the wind into other parts of the moss carpet, and it creates even more moss. Now from early spring till late fall, it's a bright green color. But if you look at it now, which we're becoming early winter, it's starting to die off in color and turn brown. That's because when sphagnum moss dies, it actually decomposes into a form of solid soil called peat. Not P-E-T-E like the name, but peat, P-E-A-T. So what peat does, it's a solid layer for trees and more moss to grow on top of. So it acts as a sort of firm. So what peat does for moss is it actually provides a bed for anchoring into, which then allows not only moss to grow, but all these beautiful trees to grow too, and it also allows small animals to be able to run across it. So what you can do is go up to the second floor of the visitor center over there, and they have a little bridge that actually acts as a reproduction of what sphagnum moss feels like. I've done it before, and I am gonna lie, it's very, very fun. So here's a patch of sphagnum moss where we can actually pick up and touch as long as you're with a guide and they say okay. I've already gotten permission to do so, so I can show you right now. So right here you can actually stick your hand in and pull it apart. So although winter has started to settle in northern Illinois, it hasn't completely reared its ugly head. As you can see, it's still mostly green on top, but if you look under, it's brown. Now this is also because there are leaves that are decaying, but also because the moss decays and turns brown in winter as well to create a sort of cover for warmth. So if you feel it, it's very, very soft, softer than any fur or mitten. And it actually smells really good too. It kind of sounds a little bit ridiculous to be out here smelling moss, but it's actually a very pleasant smell. It smells slightly of water and soil like after it rains. And as you can tell, it's clumped and interweaved together. And it clumps very easily actually because it's very absorbent and it sticks well. But as you can see, it can also just as easily be torn apart and picked through. Okay. And if you come closer still, here we go. You can start to see, especially here, the ice. That's because sphagnum moss is actually very absorbent and holds water throughout it. So sometimes when you squeeze it, water will come out. But for now, we're gonna put this moss back where it came from as to not disrupt the environment so far. Because at Volo Bog, there is a rule: take nothing but memories. So we've arrived at the eye of Volo Bog, and it's actually the open water center of the entire bog, and it's a pond. So the reason why I've dragged you out here to the pond part of the bog is to look at that pipe over there. Now we can only see 4 feet of that pipe, but that pipe actually runs down over 50 feet deep into this pond, which tells us something pretty amazing. It tells us that this entire bog is floating on over 40 feet deep of water. And I'm saying over 40 feet because the sphagnum moss mat and the peat mat that's pushed together with the moss compiles over 15 to 25 feet long. So, the entire reason why life at Volo Bog is even possible is because of sphagnum moss. So signing off from here at Volo Bog, we hope you have a great day, be safe, and enjoy moss.